The lights above the stage buzzed softly as the final sound checks wrapped up. Stephen Colbert sat in his dressing room, not laughing, not smiling. His face was pale, eyes locked on the small silver USB drive in his hand. 3 days ago, it had. Ben slipped into an envelope and pushed under his door at the studio. No return address, no note. Just the word Cifra written in black ink. He'd almost ignored it. Something made him plug it into his laptop that night. And since then, everything had changed. On the drive were heavily encrypted files. His tech producer decrypted them in silence. What they found made them both lean back in their chairs and stare at the screen for a long time. Audio, video, documents. Marked Geneva Protocols. 2027 Cifra compiled dossier. And in the center of it all, Elon Musk. Colbert had watched, in disbelief as the audio played. A meeting room somewhere cold, judging by the wind howling outside the windows. Musk's voice unmistakable. Control isn't censorship. It's design. People don't need to be silenced. They need to be redirected. Another voice answered, a British accent, clipped official. And the role of satire, weaponized empathy, softens the threat, makes people think they're informed. While they laugh, Colbert sat frozen. He'd mocked politicians for years, made jokes about tech giants. Danced close to the line, always thinking he was on the right side. But this wasn't about jokes anymore. This was about using humor to blind people, to distract them, to control them. The documents went further: charts, graphs, models, predicting audience behavior. Showing how satire could sway elections, defuse protests, even cover up digital surveillance programs. One document labeled Cifra Pulse showed how real-time data from streaming platforms could feed into AI systems that tested public reactions to jokes, tuning them live for political effect. And Elon Musk was not just aware of this system. He was at the center of it. Now, in the studio, the crew was setting up like it was just another episode. The set sparkled. Audience lines formed outside. Producers passed around notes. But only. Colbert and his closest producer, Lana, knew the truth. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Lana asked quietly, kneeling beside him. Colbert didn't answer right away. He stared at the monitor, watching the prep screen show tonight. Elon Musk, the mind behind the future. He agreed to the interview too quickly. Colbert finally said, "It's like he knew I wouldn't be able to resist it." Alana nodded. "He's not stupid. He's preparing something. Probably has a counterplay." "I'm not here to win," Colbert said. "I just want people to know." A voice on the intercom crackled. "Stephen, guest is 5 minutes out." Elon Musk walked through the backstage hallway with his usual calm swagger, wearing a plain black jacket and an amused smile. He greeted a few staff members, made a dry joke about traffic, and stepped into the green room. His assistant handed him a small earpiece. He adjusted it, then took out his phone and showed a message to one of the producers. The producer's face tightened, then quickly looked away. Musk turned toward the studio entrance. He knew. The opening monologue was a blur. Colbert cracked a few jokes, got the crowd laughing, delivered a routine about AI refrigerators stealing jobs from chefs. The audience chuckled, but Colbert's smile never reached his eyes. Then the music hit. "Please welcome tonight's guest, Elon Musk." The cheers were loud but divided. Some people stood. Others clapped cautiously. Musk stepped out, waved, sat down. Colbert greeted him with a handshake that felt more like a chess move. "Thanks for joining us, Elon," he said. "Happy to be here," Musk replied. "Always enjoy playing with fire." The first few minutes were surface level. Mars colonies, Neuralink updates, a quick laugh about Twitter renaming. But Colbert was watching every flicker of Musk's face. And then, slowly, he leaned forward. "There's been some concern," Colbert began, voice steady, "that certain technologies, yours in particular, being used to influence public emotion. especially through entertainment and media. Musk didn't blink. Everything influences emotion, Stephen. That's what makes humans human. Colbert pressed on. Are you familiar with something called CIFRA or the Geneva Protocols 2027? The audience quieted. Musk tilted his head. Course, he said calmly. But I didn't know those files were still circulating. Colbert froze. You're not denying it? Musk smiled faintly. Why would I? You don't stop a hurricane by pretending it doesn't exist. You helped build a system, Colbert said, voice rising slightly. A system that uses laughter to pacify the public, to make them easier to guide. Pacify, Musk repeated. Is that your word? Or there's... Colbert opened his mouth to speak again, but Musk cut in. Stephen, if you're going to accuse me of designing a behavioral steering system disguised as entertainment, at least let me share my side. He reached into his coat and pulled out a slim metal case. Inside, a small glass card. Musk placed it on the desk between them. That's your studio's real-time audience analysis feed. You're part of it too. Colbert stared at it, and in that moment he realized this wasn't an ambush. It was a message. Elon Musk knew everything, and he had come not to defend himself, but to dismantle everything Colbert thought he controlled. The silence after Elon Musk placed the glass card on the desk was louder than any audience cheer. Colbert stared at it like it was a weapon, small, elegant, and deadly. On its surface glowed a live data feed. Laughter percentages, keyword spikes, emotional heat maps tied to every sentence spoken on air. You see, Musk said, tapping it once, your jokes don't just make people laugh. They shape how they think, how they vote, how they trust. This feed your network runs it in real time. You didn't know? Colbert blinked. His hand trembled slightly as he picked up the card. The data scrolled fast, precise. Audience sentiment labeled in colors. Red for anger, green for laughter, blue for confusion. This isn't just viewer feedback, he said slowly. This is surveillance. Musk tilted his head. Not surveillance, calibration. Every second you're on air, the system adjusts your delivery to match target outcomes. Colbert looked off stage. Lana stood behind a curtain, pale. She hadn't known either. You're lying, Colbert said, trying to regain control. This isn't possible. Musk chuckled. You mean it's not legal, but it's very possible. It started as predictive analytics for advertisers. But when your producers saw how easily public emotion could be guided, it became something. Else the crowd didn't laugh now. The cameras stayed on, but no one was smiling. You're saying my show is ... programmed? Colbert asked. Musk leaned back, calm. You still write the words, Stephen? But the system decides which ones work. Colbert stared into the camera. Why are you telling me this? Musk's smile faded. Because this isn't just your show anymore. It's happening everywhere. I'm not here to clear my name. I'm here to warn you. You're already inside the machine. Think the machine is about to rewrite itself? There was a slight buzz in Colbert's earpiece. His producer whispered, "Cut to commercial." But Colbert didn't respond. What's the Geneva Protocol? He asked, voice sharp. Musk's eyes flickered. You found the audio, didn't you? Colbert nodded. The crowd was silent. Viewers at home were flooding social media screenshots. Live tweets, conspiracy threads already exploding. Musk folded his hands. The Geneva Protocol is an agreement between media networks, tech firms, and 3 intelligence agencies. It began in 2022. After the chaos of 2020, governments wanted a soft form of control. No more riots, no more truth spiraling out of control. So they built CIFRA. What does it stand for? Colbert asked, though he already knew. Signal Integration for Resonant Adjustment, Musk replied. It means this. The more people watch, the more their emotions are measured and the more precisely we guide the narrative. Colbert clenched his jaw. You're talking about mass emotional programming. Musk didn't deny it. Humans are volatile, he said. Your audience wants to believe they're thinking freely. But they've already been nudged by you, by me, by a million unseen pulses in the system. Colbert leaned forward. And who decides what they're being nudged toward? Musk's smile vanished. For the first time, he looked tired. That's the part I didn't design. That's why I'm here. Behind the scenes, Lana stepped out of the control room. The network's top legal advisor was already calling. An intern ran over, whispering, "Steven's trending. The feed's viral. We've broken 3 million viewers." Lana grabbed a headset. "Do not cut the feed. Let it play." On set, the conversation changed. Colbert softened his voice. "Why now? Why come here and do this?" Musk leaned forward, his tone lower. "Because the system's next upgrade is irreversible. Full-scale emotional automation. Deepfakes so precise they can simulate real-time interviews. Synthetic opinions spread by AI-hosted news anchors. And the worst part, people won't know the difference." He paused. "I tried to stop it quietly, failed. Now I'm burning it down in front of everyone." Colbert's eyes narrowed. "So this interview, this wasn't an ambush?" "No," Musk said. "It's a detonation." Suddenly, the studio lights flickered. A static pulse hit the monitors. Backstage, alarms blared. One of the live feed servers had just been hit by a denial of service attack. Lana yelled into her mic, "Keep the feed up. Route it through YouTube mirrors." Musk looked around. .com. "That'll be them," he said. "They're watching now. They know I've gone off script." The studio was in chaos. Producers ran back and forth, shouting across the control room. Black screens blinked on the monitors. The network's emergency team tried to restore the feed, but the signal wasn't just lost, it had been hijacked. Somewhere inside the server systems, something had overridden the live broadcast. A silent flood of white noise now replaced Stephen Colbert and Elon Musk on every screen across the country. "Someone's inside," a technician said. "It's not a glitch. They've taken the feed manually." Lana stared at the frozen frame on the master monitor. It showed Musk mid-sentence, Colbert half turned toward the camera. Everything had stopped, but not for everyone. On social media, the raw footage was already viral. Pirate mirrors popped up in every time zone: Twitter, Telegram, Discord, even dark web links. Viewers everywhere were downloading the video. Screenshots of Musk's data card and the Geneva Protocol documents were spreading like wildfire. Then came the knock. Lana opened the door to find 2 men in black coats. No badges. Just calm expressions and government silence. "We need to speak with Mr. Colbert," one of them said. Inside his dressing room, Colbert sat on the floor, holding a cup of water he hadn't touched. His face was pale. His thoughts were racing. Everything he believed about his work, his role as a truth-teller, a satirist holding power to account, had been turned upside down. He had been part of the system without knowing it. Or maybe he'd just refused to look too closely. The knock came again. Lana entered, her voice low. "Stephen, they're here. Government, not network." He stood slowly. "Do they want to arrest me?" She shook her head. "They said it's not about that yet." He followed her down the hall, past crew members frozen in place, unsure whether they should keep filming or start deleting files. In a small meeting room, the 2 men from earlier waited. One of them closed the blinds. "Mr. Colbert," the taller one said, "we need to know where you got the Cifra files." "I didn't steal them," Colbert replied. "They were given to me." "Anonymous delivery." The man nodded. "That USB is now classified under Section 1 to C. If you still have it, we'll need it." "I don't," Colbert lied. "I gave it to my legal team." There was a pause. Then the other man leaned in. "Stephen, you understand what you've done?" Colbert looked at him directly. Yes, he said. I told the truth, or at least part of it. The agent shook his head. No, you just started a war of narratives. And we don't know who will win. That night, Musk left the studio through a side exit. No security, no press. Only one man waited for him outside, dark hoodie, pale face, holding a phone with a scrambled signal. You did it, the man said. Musk didn't stop walking. I lit the fuse. And what now? The man asked. Musk turned, his face lit by a nearby neon sign. Now we see who survives the explosion. He stepped into a black car and vanished. Meanwhile, in Geneva, a quiet meeting took place at a private hotel near the United Nations office. 3 people sat at a marble table, one from the European Parliament, one from Japan's cybersecurity agency, and one from the World Media Alliance, a powerful organization few outside government circles even knew existed. On a screen before them was the full leaked footage. Musk, Colbert, the card. The confession. Can we contain it? Asked the EU rep. The Japanese official shook her head. Too late. Blockchain mirrors are live. Reddit channels already calling it the signal coup. The third person, silent until now, spoke finally. Then we move forward. Project Silent Fog must launch early. What about Musk? The EU rep asked. The man on the screen replied coldly. Terminate influence. Freeze assets. Discredit within 48 hours, and Colbert. A pause, let him unravel. He's emotional. He'll self-destruct. Back in New York, Colbert sat at his apartment, staring at old clips from his own show. He watched himself laughing with senators, mocking whistleblowers, making jokes about conspiracy theories, some of which had turned out to be true. He paused the video and whispered, "Was I protecting them this whole time?" He picked up his phone. Message had just come in from an encrypted app. It was a single video file. It's from Elon. He played it. It was a recording. Musk speaking directly. To camera, if you're watching this, it means they've already started. They'll say, I'm lying, that you were part of it. They'll bury the truth under waves of satire, outrage, and new distractions. But remember, Stephen, the only thing stronger than the systems silences your voice. Use it before they break it. The message ended. Colbert sat in the dark for a long time. Then he opened his laptop. And began to write. Colbert's. Fingers hovered above the keyboard. The apartment was silent except for the faint hum of the city below. It was 2:37 a.m. when he finally started typing. He wasn't writing jokes. He was writing a statement, a confession, a warning. It's a challenge. He titled it What You Weren't Supposed to Hear. In clear, simple language, he explained everything how. Elon Musk confronted him on live TV, how the network had suppressed emotional feedback technology. How the Geneva Protocols 2027 revealed a global alliance to control public emotions through entertainment. He didn't hide his own guilt. He admitted that for years he had suspected something was off. The scripted laughter, the perfect timing, the way producers quietly cut segments that tested poorly in focus group simulations before they even aired. I thought I was choosing the punchlines, he wrote, but the machine was laughing before I even opened my mouth. By morning, he hit upload. The post went live on his personal blog and social media at 7 a.m. sharp. By 7:08, it was trending in 12 countries. By 7:19, it was gone, scrubbed from every platform. Shadowban flagged for misinformation and blocked from search engines. But it was too late. Screenshots were already everywhere. Reddit threads, dark web mirrors, even college forums. The silence they had relied on for years had cracked. People were listening. By noon, Stephen was under house surveillance. He noticed it right away, a white van parked just beyond the corner. Men pretending to fix a cable line. A drone hovering a bit too long outside his window. His phone stopped making calls. His internet slowed. Lana showed up in person. They froze your network account, she said, breathless. They're saying, you leaked classified material. There's an emergency ethics hearing at the network board. They want to make you the fall guy. Colbert laughed bitterly. After all this time, I'm finally news. Lana reached into her coat. You need to see this? It was a printed photo and overhead shot of a private room inside the World Media Alliance building in Geneva. There, at a round table, sat 4 individuals Colbert knew by face and reputation. A U.S. senator, CEO from one of the world's largest AI firms, a media mogul, a man who had once donated millions to late-night comedy networks under the name Cultural Preservation. Behind them on a screen, Project Silent FOG Phase 2 approved. Colbert stared. What is Silent Fog? Lana pulled out a second photo. It's the response plan. It's total saturation. The next 10 days will see more global news events, political stunts, celebrity scandals, and artificial panic than we've had in 5 years. They're going to drown us in noise, Colbert whispered. Lana nodded. That's the plan. They flood every channel until people forget the signal even existed. Meanwhile, in Cape Town, Elon Musk stood on the rooftop of a quiet research facility. He looked over the ocean headset in his ear. Did he publish it? A voice asked from the other end. He did, Musk said. And they erased it. But people saw it. You think it's enough? No, Musk said. But it's the crack. And if we keep hitting that crack, the dam breaks. A second voice joined the line. A woman. Silent Fog is activating. We estimate 300 events in the next 72 hours. Leaks, distractions, coordinated disinfo, fake arrests, AI-generated. Chaos. Good, Musk replied. Let them turn up the volume. Every lie makes the truth clearer. Then he opened a small black box at his feet. Inside, a portable AI transmitter, custom-made, encrypted, autonomous. He pressed one button. Back in New York, Colbert's TV turned on by itself. The screen flashed black. Then words appeared. The system is watching, but the signal is free. Then came images, frames from the original interview. Pieces of the CIFRA documents, even clips from surveillance footage never aired. Musk's voice narrated softly in the background. The next phase won't be broadcast. It will be mirrored. Every smart device, every feed, every unlocked node. Colbert stared in disbelief. He wasn't alone anymore. The fight was moving beyond the studio. That night, the network held a closed-door emergency broadcast. A different host, carefully selected, emotionless, appeared on screen. She spoke calmly. Due to recent misinformation, we urge viewers to trust only verified sources. Individuals attempting to manipulate or confuse the public may be influenced by foreign disinformation campaigns. Stephen Colbert's face appeared briefly on screen, blurred, distorted. Please report any suspicious media activity. But viewers were no longer fooled. The comments were filled with people asking for links to the real feed. Code words spread across social platforms. #SignalAlive began trending worldwide. People no longer trusted what they saw on screen. They were asking questions. They were looking deeper. In a dim hotel room in Brussels, a young programmer downloaded the leaked files, uploaded them to a decentralized archive, and set a countdown. Timer 2 sent it to 1,000 universities. The screen lit up with static for just a second, then sharpened into the face of Stephen Colbert. No lights, no makeup. Just a dim, flickering glow from a lamp in a hidden hotel room. His hair was slightly disheveled, his eyes clear and steady. He didn't smile. He didn't start with a joke. "Good evening," he said, his voice low but calm. "You're watching this. It means the signal is still alive." The stream went live on over 300 independent platforms. Pirate links spread through encrypted messaging apps. Reddit pinned it. Dark web mirrors instantly formed. On Twitter, #ColbertUncut and #SignalAlive climbed to the top within minutes. Colbert leaned forward. "They're going to tell you I've lost my mind. that I've been manipulated, that I'm spreading lies created by foreign AI farms or enemy states. He held up a small chip, the same one Musk had placed on his desk. This isn't conspiracy, it's architecture. It's called Cipher Signal Integration for Resonant Adjustment. Started as an analytics tool, became a way to program your reactions through laughter, fear, and shame. They used me. They used this platform. They're still using all of us. The chat exploded. Thousands of viewers were typing at once. We're here. Keep talking. We knew something was wrong. He pressed a key. On the screen behind him appeared images, frames from the original Geneva files, evidence of private roundtable meetings, quotes from the protocols, data patterns used to manipulate public opinion in real time. And then came the chart. The one labeled Emotional Saturation Cycle, Global Experiment 6, C 2023 to 2027. It showed every major viral moment from the past 4 years. Celebrity scandals, mass outrage, fake leaks, manufactured hope, and behind each identical audience response waves. Artificially tuned, predicted to the millisecond. I was one of their loudest tools, Colbert said. But now I'm a crack. In the dam, he looked directly at the camera. You don't need to believe me. Download the data. Look for yourself. Then decide who's crazy, me or the system pretending it cares about you. The stream ended after just 11 minutes. 10 blocks away, inside a sleek boardroom at a network headquarters, executives stood frozen. Cut the stream, one said. We can't, another replied. He used a fractional key server spread across abandoned satellites. He just red-pilled the whole nation. The head of programming growled, then flooded. And with that, Project Silent Fog entered Phase 2. Within the hour, every major network released urgent headlines. Stephen Colbert suffers apparent breakdown after live broadcast. Experts warn of deepfake conspiracy video flooding. Social media, signal hoax linked to foreign interference investigation underway. On Instagram, a viral story claimed Colbert had joined a cult. TikTok filled with dancing influencers joking about crazy late-night guys who believe in mind control. One anchor said he used to be funny. Now he's just dangerous. But not everyone was fooled. At a small college in Helsinki, a media ethics professor paused her lecture to pull up the stream. She watched in silence. Her students did too. And then one raised a hand. Why would they try to erase it so fast? The professor smiled faintly. Because when someone hits a nerve that deep, the body of power always twitches. Meanwhile, Lana met with a former intelligence officer in a cafe outside Boston. The man handed her a small binder. Project Obsidian. The failsafe. The one thing they feared Musk would trigger. Inside were documents showing a counter-protocol to Cipher 1, designed not to control the population, but to free it. A global auto-broadcast switch coded into emergency signals. Not yet activated. Why are you giving me this? Lana asked. 'Cause you're not a satirist, he said. You're a producer. And now you're producing the most important story the world's never heard. That night, Colbert disappeared. No known location, no trace. Some said he boarded a private plane. Others claimed he was arrested quietly by federal agents. A few believed he was already gone hiding underground, in a digital nomad network supported by former whistleblowers and rogue coders. The mainstream media painted him as broken, but online, he became a symbol. Edits of his stream played alongside scenes from old interviews, cut together with haunting music. People quoted his final line everywhere. You don't need to believe me, look for yourself. And far from the noise, in a lab buried deep beneath Iceland's rock, Elon Musk stared at a glowing screen. The data stream was alive, but so was the resistance. A small signal light turned green. The failsafe code had been uploaded. If activated, it would override every media feed across the globe for just 10 minutes. 10 minutes of uncensored truth. 10 minutes to show the world what it had ignored for too long. Elon whispered to himself, "The machine built the fog. Now it's time to burn through it." And he pressed prepare. The morning after the broadcast, the world felt it wasn't just the headlines, it was the volume. Every screen, every feed, every app was suddenly louder. It's more breaking news, more scandals, more chaos. A pop star had accidentally leaked a controversial song. A major political figure was caught in a corruption probe. A rare solar flare was triggering global GPS interference. A trending filter on Instagram caused facial glitches, sparking AI possession rumors. Every hour, a new distraction. And yet, despite the noise, something was spreading underground. A signal. Colbert's message, mirrored, clipped, translated, subtitled, was still alive. Pirate coders, digital rebels, former tech engineers, even high school kids were passing it along. Hashtag Signally Live was no longer just a hashtag. It had become a symbol. In the Philippines, graffiti artists sprayed it on walls. In Germany, a punk band played his speech as part of their protest tour. In Brazil, farmers projected it on a grain silo during a government address. And inside a secure vault in Reykjavik, Elon Musk was watching every pixel of it. Behind him stood 3 other data scientists who once worked at Google, a former ethics officer from the European AI Council, and a woman named Asha, once a top intelligence cryptographer. "The failsafe is ready," Asha said. "One command, and it overrides every signal path connected to Cifra. All 218 countries. 10 minutes, uncut." Elon nodded slowly. "But we don't press it yet. Why not?" she asked. "'Cause right now, they still believe they're in control. Let them push harder. Let them show their hand." In New York, Lana sat alone, in a makeshift control room hidden in an old warehouse wired with independent servers. She watched the feeds: CNN, BBC, Fox, NHK, Al Jazeera, all different networks, all broadcasting the same story. Colbert aided by rogue technologists in disinformation plot. Leaked videos digitally altered, say, officials. Musk under global sanctions for destabilizing trust in public media. They were using the Geneva Protocols now openly. Every word on screen was emotionally tuned, every headline pre-tested, but viewers weren't reacting as expected. Comment sections were filled with sarcasm. Memes questioned the timing. Live streamers openly mocked the coordinated message. People had seen the seams and now they didn't believe the costume. Lana smiled. The spell is breaking. A masked live stream began spreading at midnight UTC, black screen. Then text 10 minutes of truth. At first, people thought it was a prank, but then the countdown appeared. 0 hours 9 minutes and 59 seconds, 0 hours 9 minutes and 58 seconds. The world watched, governments scrambled. Networks issued emergency statements, servers began crashing. Then came Stephen Colbert's voice, not edited, not satirical, just him. Honest, raw, and for 10 uninterrupted minutes, the stream rolled. The Geneva Protocols, CIFRA's internal documents. Audio recordings of world leaders agreeing to emotional control. Screens showing the emotional feedback interface used by producers. Training videos teaching hosts how to redirect public panic. Surveillance footage of boardroom deals between media networks and intelligence agencies. The footage ended with Colbert's final message, filmed just days before his disappearance. "If you're seeing this, it means they couldn't bury it. Don't believe me? Believe what's in front of you." Truth isn't a feeling. It's what remains when the fog clears. Then the screen went black, and the world stopped. In Washington, D.C., Senate emergency meetings erupted. One senator fainted on live TV. Another called for the immediate resignation of 5 media executives. In Paris, students took to the streets, holding signs that said, "Emotions aren't weapons." In Lagos, hackers breached a network satellite, projecting The message across skyscrapers during a tech summit. In New Delhi, thousands gathered in silence, holding mirrors toward cameras reflecting the truth back to power. And in London, two former MI6 agents handed over an unredacted version of the Geneva Protocols to the press. Inside the Icelandic vault, Elon looked at Asha. "It's done," she said. He nodded. "What about Colbert?" she asked. Elon didn't answer at first. Then he gave us the fuse. We lit it. "The rest is up to the fire." But Colbert wasn't gone. He sat alone on a hilltop in Montana, surrounded by snow and pine trees. No camera, no studio. It's just a small laptop and a secure signal. He watched the ripple effect spread across the planet. Every signal tower, every satellite, every mind that had once been programmed, now asking one terrifying question: what else have they lied about? He didn't smile. He just whispered, "Good." And then he stood up, turned off the laptop, and walked into the woods free from the system. For the first time in decades. But the signal stayed behind. The world did not go back to normal, not after the signal. 10 minutes had been enough to fracture decades of control. 10 minutes to turn satire into revolution, jokes into journalism. And one man's televised breakdown into a global awakening. Governments tried damage control. Networks scrambled to rebrand. Think tanks pushed new buzzwords like empathy, distortion, and contextual memory attacks. But no one was listening the same way anymore. Viewers no longer laughed on cue. Audiences no longer cried where scripted. The emotional algorithm broken. And Stephen Colbert, gone. Rumors of sightings flooded the internet. A quiet bookstore in rural Canada. A rice field in Vietnam. A train in the Swiss Alps. But no footage, no selfies, no confirmed trace. Until one night 11 weeks after the Signal's second stream went live. No warning, no countdown. Just his face bathed in firelight. The background, a forest, quiet, alive. His hair longer, his voice steadier. He looked directly into the lens. "Hello again." Colbert didn't speak like a host anymore. He spoke like a historian of the moment.com, controlled and completely uncensored. They wanted me to disappear, fade, into madness or obscurity, he said. But the truth doesn't fade when enough people carry it. He spoke of what came after the signal: mass resignations in network boards, whistleblowers leaking internal media manuals, new platforms emerging. From the cracks decentralized people run, immune to algorithmic manipulation. Then his voice hardened. But they haven't stopped. He explained how Project Silent Fog had been upgraded into Phase 3. Not noise, not doubting age of endless counternarratives, making every truth feel like just another opinion. They figured out they don't need to hide the truth anymore. He said they just need to drown it in options. And then, slowly, he placed a folder on the table. It was labeled Tacit Stream 12's, CIFRA U.S. deployment. Inside were documents never seen before. Leaked footage from a Pentagon-backed media division. Evidence of military-grade AI used to ghostwrite influencer posts. Simulations showing how collective emotion could be shifted worldwide in less than 2 hours using only 4 major streaming platforms. He held up a single image, an emotion map of America, lit red. This, he said, was a test. The stream ended with a message burned into the screen. The war is not for territory, it's for your story. And who gets to write it? The clip spread faster than the original signal. But this time, the system didn't fight it. They absorbed. News anchors called it compelling fiction. Professors labeled it socio-political performance art. Hollywood pitched a series deal the next day. They didn't censor Colbert. They licensed him. But people saw through it. A movement began. Signal circles formed in cities and villages, alike groups of ordinary citizens decoding media. Mapping truth flows, resisting the artificial tide. Schools began teaching students how to detect emotional saturation patterns. Coders built plugins to flag when a news segment was algorithmically tuned. New comedians inspired by Colbert used humor not just to mock the powerful, but to reveal them. And above it all, a new word entered the public language: signalist. Noun: a person who filters truth from fog, who listens without permission, who speaks without a script. Then a final act, Colbert still off-grid sent one last video. No speech, no chart. Just an empty stage. One mic, one chair, and a sign that read, "This is yours now." The camera held on the stage for 10 full minutes before fading to black. Some say he died in the woods. Some say he's broadcasting from the edge of Antarctica, feeding truths through old submarine lines. Some say he was never real to begin. Without the Colbert who cracked the system was a digital ghost stitched together by the AI that finally turned against its creators. But in homes and streets and classrooms around the world, one phrase remains: the system writes the story, until someone speaks without a cue. And from that, millions of voices rose. The fog could still return, but so could the signal.